However, in his arrogance and desire to cause pain, Albert Fish made a fatal mistake. A mistake that Detective William King had been waiting for 6 years. So when hope seemed to have died completely and resignation settled in the Budd home, fate decided to break the silence in the most brutal and grotesque way imaginable. Upon opening the envelope, Delia found not a ransom note nor a letter of condolence. What she found was a missive that has gone down in the history of criminology as one of the most disturbing documents ever written by a human mind. The letter not only confirmed Grace's death, but detailed with clinical coldness and sadistic pride the girl's final moments and the ultimate fate of her remains. The content of the letter is so atrocious that a complete reading is often censored, but to understand Albert Fish's psychology, it is necessary to address the nature of what he wrote. The description of Grace's death was direct and brutal, eliminating any hope the family might have harbored about a hidden life or a prolonged kidnapping. But the horror did not end with the murder. What followed in the text was the explicit confession of cannibalism. Fish detailed how he dismembered the little girl's body and how, over 9 days, he cooked and consumed parts of her flesh. He described the taste, the texture, and the satisfaction he felt in doing so. He wrote phrases that would pierce like daggers into a mother's heart, stating that her flesh was sweet and tender. There was no remorse in his words, only the boasting of a predator who felt untouchable, superior to the laws of men and God. However, in his arrogance and desire to cause pain, Albert Fish made a fatal mistake. A mistake that Detective William King had been waiting for 6 years. Fish, believing himself smarter than the police, had used an envelope he had on hand. An apparently anonymous, dirty, and old envelope. But King, with his trained eye and obsession with detail, noticed something on the back flap of the envelope. There was an emblem, almost imperceptible, a small printed logo that the killer had not deemed important, or perhaps thought would go unnoticed. The emblem belonged to the New York Private Chauffeurs Benevolent Association. That excessive confidence is often the downfall of psychopaths. Fish had broken the silence not out of necessity but for pleasure, for the compulsive need to relive his acts, and to extend the suffering of his victims beyond physical death. He did not know that by sending that letter, he was not only sending torture to the Budds, but was also sending his own death sentence.